Wanted to show you this video of a CNN commentator explaining how the Trumps could potentially become a dynasty. Wanted to then talk about the implications of what that would mean for the country long term.
Family who loves the spotlight and has roughly zero interest in stepping away from it anytime soon. Quote, "The Trumps will be a dynasty that lasts for decades," predicted none other than Trump 2020 campaign manager Brad Parscale in a speech at the California Republican Convention in 2019. Now, if you take a step back, it makes all the sense in the world that when Trump leaves office, he will look to his own family, likely either his eldest daughter Ivanka or his eldest son and namesake Don Jr., to hand off his political brand. Right? Right. Long before he got into politics, Trump's inner circle has largely been limited to his family, with a few longtime sycophants sort of sprinkled into the mix. All three of his eldest children, Don Jr., Ivanka, and Eric, were employed in the family business. Don Jr. and Eric Trump now run the Trump Organization, with their father residing in the White House. And all three were also featured in his various reality TV projects, often literally at the right hand of their father. Quote, "They're undeniably adaptable." Kellyanne Conway, a senior counselor to the president, told The Atlantic of the president's children in 2019, and she added this: "When the family business was real estate, they learned contracts and building approvals and architecture. Then it was television, and they learned that industry. Now, a decade later, they've turned around and learned politics," end quote. And Trump himself has made no secret since coming into the White House of how he views his children and their, in his mind, unlimited capabilities. Of Ivanka, the president told The Atlantic in 2019, quote, "If she ever wanted to run for president, I think she'd be very, very hard to beat." He then added this, quote, "She went into the whole helping people with jobs, and I wasn't sure that was going to be the best use of her time. But I didn't know how successful she'd be. She's created millions of jobs, and I had no idea she'd be that successful," end quote. Oh yeah, the whole helping people with jobs thing, of course. How, you ask? Has Ivanka Trump created millions of jobs? The president didn't really go into that. As for Don Jr., the president has expressed his shock and admiration for the sort of loyalty his eldest son engenders on the campaign trail as a surrogate for Republican candidates all over this country. Quote, "Don's gotten really good," Trump said while watching his son on Fox News, of course, in 2018. That's according to an unnamed source in the Washington Post. Trump went on to add, "My people love him," end quote, my people. In 2018, Don Jr. wound up doing more than 60 events across the country for Republican candidates, according to the New York Times, for candidates that range from West Virginia to North Dakota and back. He was literally everywhere. And his success seems to be the result of a son taking on the personality of the father, and then some. If Donald Trump occasionally crosses the line of unacceptable or non-presidential behavior, Don Jr. has made stepping over the line his brand, sharing edgy memes that border on outright racist at times and reveling in his status as the most hated Trump sibling. Quote, "He's one of the bros," Mike Cernovich, a prominent conservative social media persona, said of Trump Jr., and he went on to add this: "He has a classically masculine personality, and you don't feel like he's a snob. He really likes the meme culture. It's not fake for him," end quote. Really likes the meme culture. Hope that's my epitaph. And Don Jr. hasn't been shy at all about his interest in following in his father's political footsteps. Quote, "I definitely enjoy the fight," he told Bloomberg News in 2019, adding, "I definitely like being out there, and I love being able to see the impact and the difference that it makes on these people's lives that I get to see all over the country." And when it came to his age and when he might run, Donald Trump Jr. had this to say: "We have a lot of time. My father decided to get into politics at 68. I'm 41. I've got plenty of time," end quote. Here's the thing. If Don Jr. or Ivanka Trump ran in 2024, they would be real contenders because, well, their last name is Trump. For voters looking for the rightful heir to the Trump presidency,
A lot of people today are against the idea of a monarchy, but really, how would the Trumps be different from a monarchy? Monarchies, kids would get the crown, regardless of their intelligence, regardless of their merit. And that's how it would really be in this type of situation. Understand the Trump family, if they hadn't obtained so much wealth from Donald Trump's dad, they would probably be sucked into a bunch of MLMs. They probably wouldn't be these people with a lot of money and a lot of influence in society. They're not the brightest of the bunch. I remember Trump's lawyer, Cohen, he testified that Trump had him threaten universities and schools that he had gone to, high school and university he went to, and threaten them to never release Donald Trump's transcripts. Why is that? You don't hide your transcripts because you were a 4.0 student or because you had great grades and great scores. He wanted that hidden because it would have exposed him as a fraud. It would have shown that he's only in the position he is primarily because he's an entertainer and because he's ridden on the coattails of his father. Now, contrast this to self-made politicians. I don't even love Barack Obama myself. Yeah, he's charismatic, but when you look at the way he spied on citizens, targeted Edward Snowden and some of these people, the bailouts for Wall Street, I can say I don't love Obama, but he's self-made. I'll give him that. He grew up in a middle-class family in Hawaii. His grandpa was a furniture salesman. That's being self-made. Bernie Sanders. I mean, he's not president right now. He's running. Maybe he will be president in the future. But his dad was an immigrant. His family was not wealthy. Bernie Sanders is self-made. Donald Trump's not self-made. He inherited hundreds of millions of dollars. Not self-made in the least, and his kids will not be self-made either. So Trump's saying that if Ivanka were to run, she would be a real force to mess with, and she would do very well. Let's get her up on the debate stage with some actual politicians. Let's get her on the debate stage with some heavyweights, people that understand politics and like debating, and just see how it goes. I'm relatively unknown, but I'd be happy to debate her. But Kyle Kulinski, for example, from Secular Talk, or even let's go Anna Kasparian, Cenk Uygur, she would get absolutely destroyed if she were to debate one of them. So Trump's saying that she'd be very tough to beat. Like that's a joke. And then saying that she's created all these jobs. What jobs has she actually created? That's like someone who creates an MLM, like Amway or one of those, saying, like, look at all these jobs I created. But I don't even know if she's done that much. It highlights Don Jr. and how he's loyal. He highlighted that it feels really good to know that you made a difference in people's lives. This is, again, like what people talk about with the fake populism. Whose lives has he actually made better? They are trying to slash specific benefits that poor people get. Their tax rate, 83% of those gains went to the top 1%. It goes back to kind of the theory of George Orwell, or like the writings of George Orwell in 1984, when he says reality exists in the mind. The Trumps are living in their own reality. But the unfortunate thing is they've dragged maybe 30 to 40% of the country with them and convinced 30 to 40% of the country of absolutely ridiculous ideas that aren't grounded in reality. Going back to Don Jr., I wanted to show you this picture that he posted on Instagram of Mitt Romney last week after Romney voted to impeach Trump. Let's go ahead and look at this image. Okay, look at this picture right here. The caption, "Mom jeans because you're a pussy." Donald Trump Jr. retweeting that. Mitt Romney is forever bitter that he will never be president of the United States. He was too weak to be the Democrats then, so he's joining them now. He's officially a member of the resistance and should be expelled from the GOP. That is absolutely insane. Mitt Romney said that he voted his conscience, and the idea is to attack anyone who attacks Father Trump. Is this the type of person that America would really want to be president? Crude, entitled, arrogant. If we don't believe in monarchies in this country, we shouldn't believe in economical royalists either. Even if you don't like talking with people generally about politics, maybe mentioning Trump University and having people do their own research would be beneficial. It's frustrating because a lot of people who love Trump, they're going to vote for him regardless. They're not going to do research on it, but this would be a dark period for America if not only did we have to deal with Trump, but then we had to deal with his kids in the future. Thanks for watching.